The first trailer for the boys spin-off Gen V has dropped and is filled with all of the violence, sex, and not-so-superheroes that we've come to expect from the franchise, along with a few familiar faces. Ever since the beginning of The Boys, Ashley Barrett has been a key character in the series, constantly doing damage control and trying to keep things at Vought from getting totally derailed. Ashley often appears to be the most stressed-out character on The Boys. Based on the new Gen V trailer, it looks like this trend will continue.
Jesus, if she vibrates any faster, that stick up her ass is gonna explode.
While Ashley is only shown briefly in the trailer for Gen V, she has a typical "oh crap" expression of shock and disbelief. That means there's going to be at least one mess that she has to clean up. An example of the kinds of disasters she'll have to deal with might be hinted at by a few characters who are seen wearing ribbons on their chests in the trailer. These ribbons could allude to a possible tragedy on the campus. Given her habit of literally pulling out her hair during the latest public relations catastrophe, we're wondering if Ashley will have any left at the end of the first season of Gen V. Add to that the potential for the Seven contributing to the chaos of the show, and it's a good thing that she's already invested in a high-quality wig. Though A-Train was originally set up as one of the most hateable characters in The Boys, the corrupted former hero has become something of an anti-hero over the course of the series. While he remains morally dubious, Season 3 saw A-Train at least trying to make a difference. It even had him taking vigilante justice into his own hands and brutally killing the racist soup Blue Hawk. Since the character seems to be growing something of a conscience, his inclusion in Gen V could point to a redemption arc for him. Though the shot of him in the trailer preparing for a racist from Season 1 of The Boys, there is a very brief shot of him sporting a Seven ball cap at some kind of school event. This suggests that he will play at least some part of the story for the first season. Of course, it remains to be seen how much screen time returning characters like A-Train actually have in Gen V. But the fact that there will be characters from the main series helps to suggest that the spin-off series will make a meaningful contribution to the overall lore of the universe. Godolphin University is advertised as a safe space that allows superheroes to become the best versions of themselves. However, that claim couldn't be further from the truth, as the trailer proves that something violent is going down behind closed doors at the school. One scene from the teaser shows a student being dragged through underground corridors by armed guards. Another depicts a member of a security team being killed so violently you can see someone's hand coming out of his mouth from the assault. Whatever's happening at this secret facility clearly isn't legal, and the narration suggests that the people who run the university are overseeing the twisted operation.
Everything is
The tyrants who run the school are as corrupt as they come. Godolphin University is owned by Vought International, the corporation that built the Sage Grove Center. The Boys Season 2 reveals that the so-called mental health facility is actually a prison where humans are experimented on. So the underground horror chamber that's shown in the Gen V trailer may be used for similar purposes. Supes are no strangers to partying heartily, and the trailer for Gen V hints that there are going to be wild times aplenty in this college-based spin-off. We briefly see a group of characters drunkenly celebrating during a house party, and one character shape-shifting during a night out on the town. It looks like college life for the young superhumans will be no different than how it is for an average teenager. And we got some big hints that it's not easy dating as a supe throughout the trailer. It's also worth noting that the rages in this trailer definitely harken back to outlandish house parties we've seen on The Boys. In Season 1, Butcher takes Huey to a party to track down A-Train, and that's when Huey gets his first taste of the supe's hedonistic lifestyle. And who can forget Herogasm? In any event, it feels like Gen V is definitely trying to connect the dots between Huey's experience in The Boys and what Marie Moreau goes through as a freshman. One of the weirdest and funniest additions to Season 3 of The Boys was the fact that ultra-brutal hero Black Noir saw bright and colorfully animated cartoon characters existing alongside him in the real world. It looks like Gen V may be continuing this trend, only with a bit of a different take. Late in the trailer, we see two puppets in a neon-drenched black-lit hallway, as one of the two brutally kills the other, causing glitter to spurt from its body rather than blood. While this could allude to another character who sees reality differently from everyone else, this moment in the Gen V trailer could also be caused by a drug trip. After all, the show is set in college where students are known to experiment with illicit substances. And of course, characters in the universe of The Boys have not exactly shown a ton of restraint when it comes to substance abuse. There was always going to be some crossover between The Boys and Gen V, with various supes making at least cameo appearances. And the new trailer provides a look at another important Boys character entering the mix, Congresswoman Victoria Neuman. It's a brief glimpse, but it shows Victoria on stage with a sign behind her that partially reads Godolphin Town Hall. While it's unlikely she'll play a major role in Gen V, the image does suggest how the show will set up future storylines for her going into The Boys Season 4. She's always had powerful political aspirations, leading the charge against Supes while having head-exploding powers herself. Plus, Season 3 featured the death of Lamar Bishop, setting up Victoria to become Robert Singer's running mate. Her appearance in Gen V could simply set up this arc further, and if she gains more political power, that only makes her more of a threat.
As the next vice president, I will work hard to provide a safe and secure future for all citizens, on both sides of the political divide.
Homelander has cast a long shadow over the universe of The Boys from the very beginning, so it makes sense that he will remain a part of the world building in Gen V, even if he doesn't show up in person in the series. For starters, the trailer features a shot of Marie Moreau looking up at a Homelander statue on campus. We also see a shot later on that shows a student powering up her laser eyes, something the leader of the Seven is well known for doing throughout The Boys. However, the student has orange eye lasers rather than red ones, so we can safely assume that the character is not Homelander's son, Ryan. He's probably still a bit young for college anyway. Considering that Butcher had orange lasers by using Compound V in Season 3, it's very likely this character got his powers the same way. Will this suit be a hero or villain? We don't know for sure, but given the source material, even if he does try to fight for good, it won't be without bending or breaking just about every rule along the way. Given that the show is about young superpowered adults heading to college, there is no question that the show is intended to draw parallels to Marvel's X-Men franchise. The difference here, of course, is that while students at Charles Xavier's school would go on to be superheroes, no one in the universe of The Boys is a hero. Additionally, students at the School for Gifted Mutants generally came by their powers naturally, while students at Godolkin were created with Compound V. Like everything in The Boys, the new spin-off will certainly be a social satire, this time taking apart college life in America.
You could be the first top-ranked freshman in history.
I think you meant to say first black woman in the Seven.
Beyond that, it will be a commentary on the insanity of training young minds to be crime fighters, parodying the idealistic vision of young vigilantes as portrayed in the X-Men. It doesn't hurt either that the show comes out right before Marvel Studios is set to fold in the X-Men franchise into its larger and immensely successful MCU. With any luck, Gen V will be on the minds of fans everywhere as the X-Men gets a fresh reboot from Kevin Feige and his team of creatives at Marvel Studios. After seeing Congresswoman Neuman and Ashley in the Gen V trailer, it's fair to wonder exactly when this spin-off series takes place within the larger universe of The Boys. It appears that Neuman is campaigning for something in her brief flash, and while the shots at the beginning of the trailer of A-Train, Queen Maeve, and Homelander come from previous episodes of The Boys, it anchors that Gen V as being contemporary with the original show. And finally, seeing A-Train in the 7-ball cap shows that the Supe is up and about after his heart surgery, and ready to get some more face time with his adoring fans. In 2022, showrunner Eric Kripke spoke with Deadline about the series' blossoming and savage universe. When asked about how interconnected The Boys, Diabolical, and Gen V will be, he said, "There's definitely crossover, and we're doing our best to design a universe that sees some of the issues and storylines in Season 3 hand off to the first season in Varsity." He went on to reveal a few details about the show and how it affects the universe of The Boys. He said, "Like there's a presidential campaign happening in the background of that season, and there are certain things that are happening at that school that are both in reaction to Season 3 of The Boys, but also some new storylines that are happening in that season of the spin-off that we have to pick up and take into Season 4 of the show." He further teased the show's connectivity to The Boys, telling Collider, "People will be surprised as they come into the show, and the show evolves. The implications that Gen V has on The Boys. The two shows have some really interesting connections."